boom.
G'day, everybody, and welcome to Mad Monday. It is the time. It is a finish. The home and away season is a done and a dusted.
There you go.
And it's your boys, Joe and a Big J, here once again on Monday at 7:30, bringing you guys the best live stream on YouTube for footy. How you doing, Big J?
Mate, I'm excited. Supercoach is finished. Kind of bit of an era, I guess, for us. It's the first year that we've really kind of gone all out. And, mate, I'm just happy. I had a bit of a cheeky run to the finish there the last few weeks, so not too bad.
Mate, you had an absolute super finish to the season. A much better season than mine. We will go over that. We will go over how the league did.
Yep.
We're going to look at who
all
finished top.
Winners.
We're going to look at who did the highest score in any given week.
Yep.
So we're going to be announcing the winners of the competition, of the prizes. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
And as Shannon says, all Australians come out as well.
Yes.
Talking about the weekend's games, we know who's in the finals. Bit of a couple of controversies there. They've already had some players, be out and whatnot. So yeah, a bit of thoughts maybe to the future next year, guys. If you guys are in the chat, I know there's not many of you at the moment, but hopefully there will be in a little bit. Post some questions. We're more than happy to go through some questions and whatnot. If you guys want to do that as well.
Yeah, no, it is the squad that was revealed today, not obviously the final.
No.
The final team. I think the final team gets announced next week. But we do have, of course, the overall squad, and which we'll go through in a second. Oh, G-Bags.
Thanks,
G-Bags. Mate, much love. Right off the bat,
Thank you very much, fellas.
On the Mad Monday live stream. Hey, fellas, any thoughts on players that could have a breakout season in 2025, being their first year scoring 105 plus?
I mean, if we're averaging 105 plus, right? I mean, you've got guys like Nazaya. I think there's going to be a few kind of his echelon, potentially a McKercher and some other players, things like that as well. So, yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a few. We might even see the rise of players like maybe not a Logan Evans there yet, but definitely a push for players like him, potentially a Humphreys or a sneaky St Kilda player, Philippou, who might end up, being the most selected forward for a lot of people next year. Him and Cam Rayner last few weeks have been, been pretty amazing, and definitely can see them with another year's or another preseason. They're going to be scoring quite well, Joe.
Yeah, Isaac Rankin will probably. I know he's.
Has he not averaged 105 before?
No. So he's obviously had injuries this year and suspensions. So I think Isaac Rankin should probably hit that mark. I think Cam Rayner can do that as well in the right team. So if Cam Rayner goes to a Victorian team and plays more on the ball as opposed to playing a high half forward, then I think he could give it a real, very close shake as well. His end to the season was pretty good, apart from the occasional apart from the Collingwood game where he only scored 58. He had 2 behinds. Those 2 shots were very, very gettable. He left a lot of points and a lot of scaling on the field as well. So I know in his last. He averaged 91 in his last 7 games of the season. So there's a few players out there that can give it a crack next year. We'll have a look, but with the way the rookies are shaping up, man, rookies, as you mentioned, Big J, McKercher, Sheasel last year, Dacos the year before that, Nick Martin as well. A bunch of these first-year players are playing really favorable roles. So we'll have a look and see in the preseason, of course, and keep track of who is running hot.
Yeah,
but thank you very much for the question, G-Bag.
We'll definitely kind of go over a little bit of strategy for next year, but I definitely feel like with the amount of good first-round talent and players coming through the draft this year, it might be a guns and rookie strategy, Joe. So maybe we pick up a few more of these 500K, guys who were good last year, good this year, heading into next year, because we might just be able to skate on a lot of these cheapy players.
Exactly. Velo, g'day to you, my friend. Hope you had a good weekend. It was a very good weekend. Obviously not from a Supercoach perspective. That is never good this year. But in terms of football in general, it was so much fun to watch.
Yes.
I'm obviously I'm sounding a lot better. I do have an occasional cough, but it does feel good to hear my voice slowly come back to me. And I'm a bit surprised. That Nick Hind was cut. I didn't think he would get cut, but Nick Hind is gone, and that was a bit of a surprise. I thought more than anything, I was most surprised that Kane Baldwin was dropped. That, I think, is a big mistake. And if there's any supporters out there listening who know and will have any connections to their club, you got to tell them to get and call Kane Baldwin's manager. He will be worth it. He will be worth it.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of those players that, as you spoke to me before, right? Like, good enough to play on a team, but really needs to get over those injuries. It's one of those things that can definitely kind of kill you that way.
A huge thanks to you, Legends, for the fabulous season content. It's been a blast, mate. The pleasure's been ours, Michael. The pleasure has been ours. Thank you so much for sticking around all year long, and congratulations on your highest finish to this point. Well done, mate.
Great performance there. It's always nice. I mean, if you win last year, I think we're going to have the number one winner in Supercoach on the channel at some point, probably next year heading into the new season. But yeah, it's one of those things where your year might not go perfect, but as long as you can keep progressing and keep doing well, you're onto a winner.
Yep, exactly. G'day, JD Eagles. How's it going?
How you doing, mate? Hopefully that's not JD from JD Davies now become an Eagles fan.
Oh, we've got another Eagles man here, Shannon Humphreys, and of course the All-Australian has been revoked. We can go through it if you'd like. I mean, I've got it. I do have it open here. The All-Australian squad. Let's have a look. Brisbane and Freo, the best represented clubs in the squad. Okay.
I would say definitely a Freo. Like, a Brisbane's kind of a little bit underrated that way. They've just got such good talent across every line. Like, you've got 22. Let's pretend you probably pick. So 40. Is it 44 or just 40? So it's 44.
44.
And then there's 4 positions on field. Let's say there's like 3 or 4 rucks. Brisbane just have enough good players across each line to really kind of be like, cool, no worries. I would say someone like a Sydney, they got midfield players that are very good, but maybe their defense isn't like that worthy, and their forward line's a bit 50-50, whereas like a Brisbane can definitely kind of in a few different areas there. And even a Freo, like you can't go past Luke Ryan and then all the midfield guys, and then even people like a Treacy kind of came out of nowhere this year. So, yeah, it's not too bad. Last year, we were definitely helped and maybe a little bit hampered a little bit by the fact that there were 3 players who scored over 70 goals. So they were almost auto-inclusions. Because that hasn't happened this year, I feel like the All-Australian is probably going to be a little bit more balanced. It's not going to have 3 key forwards in the same team. Like, you wouldn't play that in a real game of football.
I wish it was I really wish it was set up in a way where you could see line by line who's playing where. All they've got it right now.
Not yet.
All they've got it is just in terms of which teams have made it. So I don't like the way they did this. I would have much preferred to see a picture of it. But then again, this isn't the final list. So it makes sense. Let's see. So Adelaide had nobody. So Dawson's been up and down.
Yeah,
Rankin's been suspended and injured. Laird hasn't been dominant. Tex has been injured as well.
I don't think he's been that good either. I can't picture 5 good games for Tex for the year. He might have played, but not been as dominant as maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so I can understand why no one from Adelaide is in it. Brisbane, Harris Andrews, I had him in my All-Australian. Joe Danaher. How many goals has Joe Danaher kicked this year? Does he warrant a selection? Goals. Joe Danaher. Where is he? Number 6. 50 goals for the season. All right, so if you're on the top 6, fair enough. I can see why he might get a call up for the squad. Lockie Neal for sure.
Yep.
He's competing for the Brownlow, so that makes sense. Cam Rayner, I mentioned it when I was doing my video, when I was doing my All-Australian, that he really did have a great season this year. Real breakout.
The fact that he plays the fact that he plays forward as well makes a huge difference. If he was selected, I think as probably a midfielder and things like that, wouldn't happen.
Yeah, potentially. And Dane Zorko, he's also been very good coming off halfback as well. So yeah, I don't mind these selections at all. Kai Lohman was really good for him, especially in the small forward department.
I think probably the whole, for half the season maybe, but I didn't think he featured that much at the start.
At the start, probably not, but I do think that he's done.
Yeah, the AFL's posted up a better picture. If you jump on the AFL Twitter, they've got it. They've got a better.
I know. Velo's also messaged it as well. Let me just. Yes, here we are.
We can go through this way if you want.
Open image, a new tab.
There you go. Yeah, that's the one from Twitter.
Okay. Thanks, Velo. Much love, brother. Okay, so I don't mind this at all. Carlton, Paddy Cripps, of course. Captain Inspirational, makes sense. Charlie's obviously Charlie. Mackay, obviously Mackay. And Wiedering, I do think up there, him and Taylor are probably the 2 best one-on-one defenders in the comp. So completely agreed with Wiedering and is there. Collingwood, Darcy Cameron, fair shout for Darcy Cameron. He has had a very good season.
Yeah,
he's dominated.
Unexpectedly too.
I think he was the number 1 intercept marker for Ruckman this year, and it showed. He was really impressive. So I respect this call, and of course, Nick Dacos was going to get in.
Of course.
I think, of course, Zach Merritt gets in as well, by far and away our best player. Bit unfortunate for a Jai Caldwell type. I thought Jai also had a really good season this year, but we are talking All-Australian. This is top of it. This is best of the best here.
I think he was definitely second half. Kind of when he came on in Supercoach, right, is when we kind of saw his potential there. I don't think he had that. And I think definitely Caldwell from my Supercoach team itself, we had games round 24 where I think he got moved to the forward line or something happened and just wasn't as impactful as, some of his goes through the middle.
For Freo, Andy Brayshaw has been good. Jordan Clark's been good. Luke Ryan. Look, I think Luke Ryan is too much of a seagull for my liking to be in an All-Australian.
There's no way you're not going to put him in, Joe.
No, I wouldn't put him in. He's too much of a seagull, man. Too much of a seagull. He has the capacity, but he chooses to play the degenerate role of the seagull getting the cheapies off halfback. He can be a good defender, when he decides to be. But I feel like too often he's the one who's just too happy to receive on the outside. And that, for me, I wouldn't put him in the All-Australian.
Yeah, 100% he's in the team for me.
There you go. Even better. I don't have Ryan in my team. Yeah. Caleb Sarong, yep, for sure. And Hayden Young. I mean, we saw how important Hayden Young is to Fremantle. As soon as he went down with injury, as soon as Hayden Young went down with injury during the game against Port, the midfield for Freo was impotent. They got smashed by Port. So, yeah, Hayden Young's been very good. Geelong, Jezza Cameron, of course.
Yep.
Max Holmes, yep, fair enough. Tyson Stengel, one of the best small forwards in the comp. I agree.
I don't think Cameron's probably a shout for the forward line, depending on how Waterman and stuff go. But I think Max Holmes probably misses this year. And then with another strong performance next year, I think he might get it.
Yep. Seagulls don't deserve All-Australian. Yes, Michael, preach.
Luke Ryan also intercepts and does other things as well. He does Seagull a bit, but yeah.
Bro, it is ridiculous. It is. How does he have no shame? Seriously, half the time. It is embarrassing to watch.
Mate, that tackle on the weekend was pretty good. It's just a shame they lost.
Mate, he got him because Georgiades had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. That's how tackles normally work. You don't be like, oh, sorry, are you ready? Let me come tackle you.
Oi! Where is Sexy Boy?
Yeah.
Where's Flanders?
I think Collins / Anderson should have been a Flanders 100%, but unfortunately, Kane Corns does not play Supercoach. It's a bit of a joke. He should have made it. The guys. Let me quickly check. Right,
bro. Flanders has to be in the All-Australian squad.
Oh, 100%.
He's played all over the ground. He's played him at halfback, midfield, high half forward. He's a Mr. Fix-It who has done well in just about every position. I don't even know how he doesn't get a gig. But Max Holmes gets a gig?
There you go.
Ahead of Flanders?
Like Flanders, right? There's 6 measurements for his type of player. Flanders is rated elite in 4 of 7. Sorry. There's 7. Flanders is rated 4 of the 7 and above average in the other 3. Like he needs to be there.
What more does he need to do? Jeez, that's
apparently maybe carry them to the grand final or carry them to finals or do something,
Well, outside of home, Noah Anderson did nothing away from Gold Coast. Like at the Gold Coast at home, Noah Anderson was Superman, and then as soon as he left, someone slips kryptonite into his Gatorade or something. I would have Flanders ahead of Anderson.
Oh yeah,
when it comes
I'd have Flanders ahead of Collins too. I never picked out Collins to be a good player. I mean, he's a good player, but
he is
all Australian. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I agree. Flanders has a bit of stiffness to miss out.
The only reason why I can see where he doesn't get picked is if it's the fact that he did play a bit of halfback kind of role and then move to the forward line. Like if he's playing everywhere across the ground, they can't say he's the best in this position. That's probably the only thing that I would say is the reasons why.
He's just a utility Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah, but where do you put that in the All-Australian? Like on the bench?
Well, I'm pretty sure Sean Burgoyne made it into the All-Australian team, and that was probably his biggest attribute was the fact that you could play in midfield, half forward, and in off half back. So flexibility is a strength. He can come off the bench and be a utility person. So all Australian selectors, come on. Joe, they don't pick in position anyway. Man, they need to pick by position. It's a team. It's supposed to be an all-Australian team. You're picking a team of the best of the best. They need to be able to pick position.
That's it, right?
GWS, Brett Daniels, yep, for sure. Massive. Hogan, the Coleman medalist, of course, gets in.
Mm-hmm.
And Lockie Whitfield,
He's
has
been
gone
playing
under the radar a little bit this year, hasn't
he? He did quite well for my Supercoach team. Can't say anything bad about that. And 100%. I think he's shown signs of it throughout previous years, but it really feels like 2024 was the first year where he's kind of put it together. Maybe it's a positioning thing. Maybe it's no Leon Cameron. I know there was times in previous years where he's definitely played in different positions. Oh, he's a forward now and he's a backman and then he's a midfielder, whatever. But Lockie Whitfield's been fantastic. You can't go past the fact he racks up 40 touches in a game. Like, come on.
I think there was a period of time during the season where Adam Kingsley himself said we want to give the ball to Lockie Whitfield more. And that was the reason why we traded him in, because those were really positive comments. So they gave him the ball a lot more. And I think he deserves a nomination for sure. Massimo D'Ambrosio. This hurts. It really hurts to see.
Yeah, sucks for you.
But it's deserved.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's deserved. He has been wonderful this year.
Yeah.
Dylan Moore, probably the best half forward in the comp. Him and Brett Daniels, probably up there, the two best half forwards in the comp. And Sick Dog, I'm a little surprised Sicily made it, to be honest. I thought his start to the year was pretty damn bad.
I don't think he makes it to the team. I think he just makes it to the squad. I think he's one of those names that, with Hawthorn's performance on field and whatnot, it's hard to put him out. And I think that's kind of the situation here. But I would be very, very surprised if he makes it into the 22/23.
Yep. Maxi Gorn, of course, always going to get a gig, even with his injuries. And obviously Oliver hasn't flourished and Petrarca's been injured all year. There's really no one else. I mean, Rivers may be a bit stiff not to get in there. If someone like Collins is making it, and Noah Anderson, but Max Gorn for sure gets in. Sheasel, of course, gets in, and Sherry, of course, gets in, no doubt.
Beast. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them make it into the All-Australian. Cherry probably has a bigger chance just for the fact that Sheasel has had like the last 2 weeks off. But throw Sheasel on the bench. Like, I think it's him and Dacos probably in the All-Australian for the next however long, to be honest. Barring like an AFLW, that kind of thing.
Zach Butters for sure gets in, absolutely. Horn Francis definitely, I think, has built into the season very well. His game on the weekend yesterday was very impressive against Fremantle. Very impressive. Deserves it. Dan Houston. I'm actually surprised about Dan Houston getting in this.
You just don't like Dan Houston. But I think he's definitely he's been very solid all year. I mean, that's kind of showed by his performances on Supercoach. I mean, people don't like to say Supercoach is related to football, but Supercoach is related to football, unfortunately. And Dan Houston has been carrying quite a lot for this team. Probably pushed out a little bit by Logan Evans and Farrell and Burton playing a similar role, but like have not pushed him out like out of a position one day.
I'd rather have I'd rather have Tom Stewart. In terms of performances this year, I'd have Tom Stewart ahead of Dan Houston to play that halfback role. Personally, I think Stewart has had a better season this year. He's actually been involved playing midfield and then dropping back behind the ball, whereas Houston just seems to have become a real role player amongst other role players as well. I don't think Houston makes it to the final 22.
Potentially. I think he's definitely done enough to be there though.
Sure. Sinclair for the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
No Rowan Marshmallow. Sorry about that, Rowan.
Corey was saying Marshmallow, why is he not in the team as well?
He's going against Sanders, Marshall, and Stewart are the biggest players.
I don't know. Marshall felt like you look at his stats, he's had a great year, but it didn't feel like not that he wasn't worthy, but I don't know. He just wasn't as impactful as I thought he might have been.
Like, in terms of the ruckman, you're not going to put him... I don't think you're putting him at Darcy Cameron. I don't think you're not putting him against Gawn or Sherry. What, does that make him the 4th best ruckman in the comp?
Probably. I just look at his stats pro at the moment, and his hit outs are pretty average, and his hit outs to advantage have not been great. So maybe that has something to do with it. Could just be a St Kilda problem, and the midfield aren't great, but definitely, he does a lot around the ground. But you're a ruckman, mate. You're not a forward or a midfielder, so maybe that's affected it a little bit.
Thanks for a lot of work throughout the season, fellas.
Thanks, Jonas.
465 on you, Jonas.
Nice, congratulations.
Congrats, man. Poor legends for doing. Oh yeah, you guys love your new favorite fruit is the pear now. Meanwhile, the Swans, Blakey, the Lizard, yes, not too many people I'd want the ball in the hands of running off half back. Nick Blakey, wonderful. Goulden is a lock for the wing on the wing positions. Heaney's start to the year was phenomenal, and then that last quarter against Collingwood, one of the best last quarters of all time. And then the Chad had a hot streak middle of the year.
I think he makes squad. I don't think he makes the team.
I don't think. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's just a placeholder, being like, cool, we've got to fill a spot for him. That's it.
Yep. Jerry McGovern, he will be up there as one of the most improved players in the comp.
Yeah.
He's come from nowhere and absolutely done an incredible season. Deserves to be here for sure. Jake Waterman, not Jeremy McGovern. Jake Waterman, I mean.
Yeah, Waterman, definitely.
Yeah, Jeremy McGovern, of course, is a very good defender, but Jake Waterman has had an absolutely unreal season. Deserves to be here for sure.
He'll make All-Australian, hopefully. I think McGovern, similar to a couple of others that we've talked about on today's show, I think McGovern, good at first half of the season, obviously talked about in Supercoach, but the fact that he missed the last, bunch of games? I don't think he's played since he got injured, right? Maybe I'm mistaken. But, yeah, he hasn't been great.
Yeah, your forward line, I mean, because you look at the forward line in the final team, you can't have a forward line of Jesse Hogan, Waterman, Mackay and Curnow, for example.
Yes.
That's probably way too tall of a forward line.
Yeah.
I don't think you can have all 4 of them.
I don't think Mackay makes it. I think Curnow's very lucky to make it, to be honest. I think of potential and of scoring, Curnow probably makes it just because he's Curnow. But I do think that a Hogan and Waterman are the 1-2 in this list. Like, if you pick 2 out of 4, I think the Carlton boys miss it. Especially because they've missed the last couple of weeks as well. Like, last 3 or 4 weeks, they've had injuries and whatnot. They don't deserve it on form.
Yep, fair enough. And the last team, the Bont, of course. Bont is Bont. Treloar for sure.
Yep.
And Bailey Dale were making it.
Yep.
After having been relegated to VFL during the middle of the season. He was in the VFL, and now he's in the All-Australian squad. Wow. Yep. Unbelievable. So, yeah.
He's a good player. I wish my team had a Bailey Dale. I get a little bit worried about the Dogs. They've got a lot of players now who are getting to that 30-year mark. Bont will be close to 30 next year. Bailey Dale will be there. Chalor will be there as well. You really hope these guys like Bramble. I mean, we've got Frieger and Gallagher and a few others, but really hope that these kids can start to stand up, because in 2 years, they might have to, Joe.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years. That's it, really. Like, Bailey Dale's probably got 4 years left in the system, maybe a little bit more if he's lucky. Bit scary, but yeah.
Man, Bont plays till he's 35.
Yeah, so he's got 5 years left, but he's not going to be. Yeah. I mean, but he's not going to be like the Bont by that time.
Yeah, Bont will always be Bont.
But Bont is Bont. All right, cool.
Flanders better than Holmes, Clark, Daniels, and maybe even Brayshaw.
Yeah, 100%. I think so as well.
Jonas, I hope we get Charlie, Harry, McGovern, the Conning, and Doherty back for finals.
Yep.
Would be huge.
Yeah, you need it. Huge. You really need it. Like, with this kind of team, you can really push hard for finals. Very, very lucky that there's a week off this week. I know we'll talk about AFLW Fantasy at some point. Even if not today, then in another video coming up this week. But yeah, very, very, very lucky that there's a week off right now.
Yep. Stewart should have been over Sicily and Marshall over Cameron. Stewart over Sicily, I can agree with that. Marshall over Cameron, probably not. I think Marshall is not the best at anything, whereas Cameron was the best intercept marking ruckman, and I think that's a really impressive trait to feature so highly from an intercept marking perspective. I honestly think Darcy Cameron has had games where he's genuinely dominated. I think Marshall's only dominated once this year, and that was against an insipid Draper when we played St Kilda the second time around. I don't recall Marshmallow dominating a game. So I'd have Stewart over Sicily, yes, but I'd still keep Darcy Cameron ahead of Marshall.
Yep. Yeah. I think someone said, Michael saying here, Treloar, highest possession player in the AFL. Treloar is fourth. Treloar is fourth. It goes Whitfield, Dacos, Tom Green. If you hear about that, Joe. Whitfield, Dacos, Tom Green, and then Treloar. Whitfield's on 700, and then Dacos and Green are on the same at 705. And then it is Treloar on 697. So, yeah, Tom Green, I mean, he'd be fantastic in fantasy because he'll just get the ball and then do whatever he wants. But in Supercoach, it's, bit of a different story, I guess.
So, how did Zach Reed not get in?
There you go.
Mate, he can't even play half a game against Hawthorn in round one. Globes, g'day, Globes.
What's up,
Sad
man?
to see Hindy play his last game. Yeah,
Did he play round 24?
No, he didn't even play round 24.
Bloody
yeah. The bolded Hind is gone, never again to be seen in the AFL.
He'll probably end up the guy's 30. He's played 95 games. I mean, that's a pretty good career, to be honest. Like, he's been 6 years in the system now, so not terrible. Probably ends up like a West Coast or something for a couple of years if they can, if they want to.
Thank you for your services, mate. You're gone. I think Houston struggled in the middle of the year, so surprised he made it. I agree. Who wins the Brownlow? Globes.
I think Dacos has it, to be honest. I think they posted up a stat the other day. I think maybe even during the Collingwood game, and then he went bananas and scored a 180. I'm in Supercoach. There's a lot of games where Dacos has 3 points throughout the year. There's a lot of games. As good as Bont is and everything like that, I mean, I wouldn't give 3 votes to Bont on the weekend for his performance. And then you look at a Dacos, and then you 100% have to. And I think there's a few too many of those games throughout the season.
The thing with Bont also is that he gets points taken away from him by the likes of Treloar, Jamara, Sam
even a
does.
Bailey
Dale, exactly. Like there are other people eating into Bond's points, unfortunately. Whereas Nick Dacos would feature 3 points a lot of 3 votes. I think Cripps also benefits from not too many people eating into his points in the midfield. Having said that, I don't think he's getting any votes from the last game against the Saints. Maybe 1 vote at best, but he gave away too many free kicks in order to warrant it. And as we mentioned, talking about Brisbane, Lachie Neale has to be up there as well. Yeah. But if I have to pick one person to be the favourite for it, I'm going to probably say Paddy Cripps.
You reckon he's going to get it over Dacos?
I think he gets it over Dacos because there's been games where Dacos has been tagged. Neil Bullen, for example. Whereas I'm not sure how many games where Paddy Cripps has been nullified.
Cripps definitely did have a crappy part, like a crappy period throughout the season, though. There was definitely, maybe it was a Carlton thing, but there was a definite drop off through like the middle of the season. And I think there may have been some games where some other people had taken some points off him as well. So, I mean, if you had him in Supercoach, you'd be somewhat happy. But I think just from this, we'll see.
I think it's one of these two. And then Neil will be third.
Most likely.
Fourth, it could be Butters. Big fan of content. But Butters, I think, gets, again, occasionally points taken off him by Horn Francis and Rosie. Occasionally will eat into his points. But one thing is for sure, as Michael says, it will be a midfielder.
But I mean, if you look at it, right, let's pretend a Dacos. The guy runs through the mid and kicks goals. Like, I think the time of your pure midfielder, like Tom Green is not going to win the Brownlow because he doesn't do enough around the ground. But you have a Sheasel at some point, you have a Dacos, even a Bont, Lachie Neale to a lesser extent. They run around and kick goals. So they do a lot more than just the basics.
Like, No, you need to be flashy. You need to be eye-catching to the umpire.
Yeah, high impact.
Yeah, that's why Horn Francis got 3 votes last year for like that 7 disposal game where he had like 3 clangers. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're eye-catching, you're memorable to the umpire. Nick Dacos is eye-catchy. Cripps is eye-catchy. Is Lachie Neale eye-catchy? I think what he does at ground level is really, really impressive. Maybe not as eye-catchy as like a Cripps or a Dacos with the way they run through the middle of the ground. Not Lachie Neale's very happy to pass it off. Bont is flashy because of the way he lopes away from the center bounce, drills a pass straight onto, Jamara's chest, for example. And he hits the scoreboard as well. So, I don't know, maybe. You just need to be eye-catchy enough. Neil clearly must be eye-catchy. Yeah, he clearly must be.
There you go.
But
there you go.
I wouldn't say he's more eye-catchy than Bont or Cripps or Dacos, is what I would say. Bont deserves one.
Yes, he should have won it last year.
Yeah, he should.
Should have won it last year.
If it's eye-catching, Ellen D'Amico should win it. Horn Francis only polls well because they think he's Miles Bergman. G'day, Shawnee. How's it going,
What's
man?
up, Sean?
Golden Fist, much better award. They need to implement it, man. They need to implement it. We need a Defenders Award. It is so overdue.
Yep. It's one of the things that I think American football has over the AFL awards, and I think because the Brownlow is so dominant for a forward, and the Coleman is so much so that the Brownlow is definitely a midfields type award. And the Coleman is obviously whoever's kicked the most goals. I think having a defender award, I think is definitely warranted and needs to happen.
Yep. Merritt, top 5 for Brownlow. Man, Merritt
won enough games, to be honest. I think Nick Martin and a few others have had better games throughout the season than what Merritt has. Hasn't been as dominant.
Yeah, and he's prone to the tag still, Merritt. Like he'll try and fight through it, but every time you put a tag on him, it's very effective. And then you have people like Caldwell and Durham start to rise. So as a team, it's better for Essendon that there's development into Caldwell and Durham so that we are less Zach Merritt dependent. But that's not promising for Zach Merritt Brownlow prospects. So, if Merritt finishes top 5 in the Brownlow, then that would be a bloody impressive effort considering the number of tags that he's had this year.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he does finish top 5, to be honest.
Yeah, sneaky pick. I want your sneaky pick, Joe. Sneaky pick. Who's your guy that's going to come out of nowhere? I've already got mine in my head, but who's your guy that's going to come out of nowhere and then be kind of a sneaky pick for yourself?
A sneaky pick for the Brownlow?
Yeah. You know how we had Brayshaw a couple of years ago that everyone talks about and ended up third? We're not talking about a guy who's going to knock out a Bontempelli and a Neal and a Dacos because I think they're pretty much set. But someone who you're going to be like, oh, top 5 or 6? I never thought that was going to happen.
I haven't even thought about it. You've really put me on the spot here, mate.
Well, that's what we do at the centre bounce, That's it.
So someone who has had a surprisingly good season that is going to poll very well.
Yes.
Will Day.
All right, then. We got a few Sarong and Errol are my sneaky picks. There you go. 18 trucks at Minerals. Mate. All right.
Very nice.
Sarong will go well. Blakey's another one. I kind of have two. I want to say a Cherry, but I don't think it will be. I'm going to go Flanders or Whitfield are my two picks. I think they've kind of done a lot in their respective teams, and maybe Whitfield hasn't won enough throughout the season, just being from the team that he's on. But I think, sorry, not Whitfield. I think maybe a Flanders hasn't won enough being the team that he's on. But Whitfield, definitely. Umpires love those ones. And then Global saying Heaney as well. Heaney's one that's definitely... He's got a few threes, no doubt.
Who's obviously ineligible as well.
Yes. Yeah, kind of sucks.
Trelaw, sneaky pick. Noah Anderson will poll 3 times. That's true. Day missed. Look, none of these people are actually going to win it though. Velo is the thing. Like I just think, I just think someone who's going to poll really well. I feel like a lot of the games that Hawthorn won during that incredible streak after his return, I think he will feature in the votes every single week of those ones. He was their best player throughout that entire period of time, and they were smashing people. I think Day, obviously missed a lot of games, but I think the votes to games ratio will be very impressive for Will Day this year, I think.
Yeah. I think so as well. All right. Do we want to do some Supercoach, Joe, while we're here? Maybe we'll do your team, we'll do my team, and then we'll do a bit of the prizes. What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah. So I scored a 22.74 on the weekend. It was a rough one. Obviously a donut with both Sheasel and Houston out, and then another donut in the forward line because Heaney was a lay out.
Yep.
And Kerno didn't play and Kruger didn't play. So we had 2 donuts this week. We had the Max Gorn VC 122. I have a 120 plus policy. If someone scores over 120, you take it. You don't go.
My captain did not score over 120 this week.
Yeah, so 122 policy.
Yep.
At 120 plus. So that's what I did. So I saw Gorn take it. Congratulations, mate. We'll put the captaincy on Show and Maker and call it a day. And then the mid, it's. I wanted to go Dacos, but maybe it was Legend here in the chat that sort of scared me off that potentially Neil Bullen could tag him like he did last time.
I heard a bit of that too.
So I ended up moving away from Nick Dacos and moved it to Gorn. Obviously, would have much preferred to have kept it on Nick Dacos, but, you can't do much about that.
No.
So McKercher on the 84. Marty Hoare, well done, mate. 28 points. You worked your ass off, mate. That's unbelievable. 28 points. You're an absolute superstar. Thank you so much for that. You might as well have been another donut, basically. And so, Green 96. No one really dominating. Zach Merritt at the Gabba, 135, very respectable. Flanders, 161. He was going to be the captain if Gorn didn't score 120 plus. But because Gorn scored over 120, I didn't go with Flanders. So thank you, Max Gorn, for taking away a great captaincy score from me. Darcy Moore, Coswell on the 53.
Nice.
Huh?
It's not very nice. Sorry, Max.
Man, Max Gorn.
It's your fault.
Max Gorn has single-handedly killed my season.
All right.
So, that was how I did, and I ended up finishing the season with my worst ever outing for the year, 13,755, which was obviously very disappointing, but we learned a lot, and we still had fun along the way. You guys had a lot more fun than I did, especially when it comes to the ruck merry-go-round and the McKercher injuries. But Gorn's knee. Gorn's knee.
Tough Gorn's
knee.
That knee, bro.
That dastard knee had killed me before the season began. So that was bad. Very, very bad. But
that was not
thank
fun.
you guys so much for following my Supercoach journey this year. Hope you had fun.
Well, there you go. Bloody Gorn's knee. Tell you what. My week definitely wasn't, from a captain's standpoint, my week was not great. But from a team's standpoint, not too bad. There you go, Michael. There you go. And Jen's like, there you go. Almost beat Jen this week, Joe. Let me share the screen.
Jen's too good, man.
She's too good at this Supercoach.
Yeah, it's true. You're true, Mari, about that. You're true. You're right. Jai Newcomb has had a good season this year.
All right, let's do my team. So this week, Big J scored 25.75. Wasn't too bad. I was pretty happy with that. Would have been nice if I could learn how to pick a captain. I had Cherry the last few weeks and, forego Dacos on Friday night. 186 was pretty salty. Cherry scored a 123 and I was like, mate, got to pick a better player. And then throughout the rest of the weekend, I didn't pick Flanders and then didn't pick a few other players and ended up with Butters on a 115 and was very, very happy and very lucky that Butters actually scraped home in the last little bit because he was on like 20 points at quarter time. And I think he had about a 40 to 60 point last quarter to kind of jump straight up as Port ran home against Freo. So, yeah, very, very lucky there. Coverage, I think, for me this year was key. So definitely coverage. Velo, if you have a look down here, I had a sneaky player, Jack Hutchinson, who, 102K, not too bad there. Ended up with the 102 in the last week. So
what the hell, bro? Evans and Hutchinson.
He came on and was coverage. So I just had the one out this week. Was very lucky that English played, and then Houston was my last out. So I could have had Humphreys on field if I had El Huahi instead. So not too bad there. Finishing off the season. Oh, no, that's not right.
You logged yourself out?
No, it just does it all the time. So it finished off the season with a rank of 655, boys and girls. So very, very happy with that. Last 4 weeks did extremely well. Kind of came home out of nowhere, really, for me. I think starting the buys, I was ranked. Can we check history? Let me quickly check.
Yeah,
we can check ranking history, right? How do we do that? In history?
Yes. Okay, history makes sense to go to history.
All right, calm down. Average league wins, round points, season rank. There we go. So started off by rounds, I think rank round 2-7, around that way. Not too bad there. And then, ended up catching up, had a couple of bad weeks where I jumped back down. Last few weeks came home. Was very, 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 very happy with that kind of run home. I think coverage was definitely king for a lot of it. Simpkins saved my butt when Kerno was out for a few weeks. And then, as we saw with guys like Hutchinson, Humphreys was stuck in the mid-bench, but what can you do? Not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. So lots to learn from this year.
What Sinbad says? Stuff you, Big J, you North Melbourne supporter. Told me to not go with Big Tristan Cherry. It's your fault.
Hey, I didn't pick Tristan Cherry. The only reason I got him was because Max Gawn got injured, and I had a trade to be able to sideways. Was very, very, very happy with that, but not too bad. I'll definitely take it, finishing off the season. So
very well done. Very, very well done.
Congratulations as well to the guy who ended up winning the weekly this week, because 2009, it's a big score. It's a very, very big score. We might do it on my screen, Joe. And I think he didn't even have that much of a good team either. Jackson didn't.
He's got Lockie Neal, so I forgot who asked me last week, who do I trade in?
That's true.
I hope you got Lockie Neal, like I told you.
Yep. Yeah, highest score for the week, this fella. So there you go. And congratulations to, I think his name's Grudo on Twitter. Ended up getting number 1 in the rankings. So jumped up from let me see, total points, total rankings. So I did total points. Joven was second and then had jumped up in the last week. So
nice.
Pretty happy there. We might do our league prizes. What do you guys reckon? Should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Big J beat Levitsky in the Podmasters League. There you go. Podmaster C. I'm just lucky. Overall ranked 10th. So not too bad. Not bad. A good size. How's this going to work?
Scroll down.
Oh, yeah. So, no, it doesn't allow me to scroll down. Do you want to pull that up on your screen, Joe? Because it's not working for me.
All right, let's try. Classic leagues.
All right. Technical difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties. Joe, did you stop doing tips as you only got 96?
I've been doing it on ESPN.
Joe has not been doing tips normally. There you go. What is this thing? Why is it doing this? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, this is a bit bizarre. It doesn't let you scroll down.
Yeah.
It doesn't let you scroll down.
It has a little scrolly thing there, but it doesn't allow you to scroll like the rest of the screen.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre.
We'll check it out on Joe's screen.
Well, I'm
no, I'm currently on the wife's computer. So thanks if you're watching.
I'm on the same problem as you.
Yeah.
In that it can only show.
Like it shows who won.
It shows who won, correct.
But it doesn't show.
In terms of the below.
Yeah.
This is a very poor design for the website. Oh, you know what? I just zoomed out. And there you go. All right.
Done. So it is going to be a little bit weird, but Quez, thank you very much. You are the winner of our league. I think you overall rank 16, so bloody amazing there. You have a jersey coming your way. I know you've messaged me on Discord, so pick what you want, pick what number, we'll send it your way. No drama there. Joe, what was our second prize for the year? Do you remember?
It is the one who scores the highest points
scored for
any
a single week.
individual week.
Yep.
So
maybe we'll get
going to go week by week and keep track of who has the highest score.
Yep.
So let me just open a notepad.
Can we put it up on the screen?
And put it up on the screen. So
week 1.
Round 1. Yep. Highest score went to Spags Oasis, who scored 2,366 points. Congratulations to Spags Oasis. Round 2. What do we have? Raging Bonner.
What a name.
The Raging Bonner scored 2179.
Yep.
Sorry, Raging Bonner, you are not in the race for winning the highest score. Round 3, we had Skits Fitz with a score of 2,110. Congratulations to Skits Fitz.
Yeah, I forget how low the scores were for like the first few rounds.
Yep. Round 4. Timmy's Blues, 2,433. This is the score to beat thus far. Round 5. We've got the Doctor Who's.
What a name.
2171.
It just proves as well, like it doesn't matter so much ranking and scores because Doctor Who's was ranked 14K. Same with Cash Wookiees as well. 13,000. There you go.
2142. Well done, Cash Wookiees. Round 7 was
Lucifer's Laundry.
Lucifer's Laundry. 2534. This is the score to beat so far. Round 8. Chev's Titans.
There you go. I think we had Nathaniel on the. Is this the same person we had? No, maybe not.
Yes, I think it is.
I think it was, yeah, when we had on the channel.
Round 9 was Bingers
2614. Pretty good week, tell you what.
That is the score to beat so far. Bingers 2614. Round 10.
Trelaw and Order.
Trelaw and Order. I like it. I like it.
Tell you what.
2606. Not quite as high as Bingers, but that's a great name. Trelaw and Order.
Jamie stacked with stars 2514. There you go.
Good score, but not quite good enough. Round 12. Injury prone. This must be Zach Reed's team. 2245. Round 13. You Ripper Cripper. This is a Blues fan. 2131. Round 14. West Coast Eagles rule. West Coast Eagles rule. Michael He was top for a week.
There you go. Nice score, Michael.
Round 15.
Paddy.
We have Paddy, coached by Paddy. 2318. Round 16.
Bingers again. Bingers, if you're in the chat, let us know what ranking you got by the end.
Round 17. The Raging Bonner emerges again with a 2,720. That is the highest score thus far. The Raging Bonner. Round 18. Can someone beat the Raging Bonner? The Punisher will not. With a 24.98. Velo, I know you want us to skip round 19, but we shan't. We shan't.
Big J.
Send the bounce, Big J. Big J.
Good week for me, I tell you what.
25-66. Very nice score. But you're still shit. Round 20 is Team 42. Interesting. Has he made 41 teams before this one?
Probably. Just keeps making accounts and doing autofill and then optimize every week, and whichever one works, hey.
Round 21. Silver Pigeon.
There you go.
Silver Pigeon.
Nice work, Mark. I think
26.
Looking like Mr. Raging Bonner's getting there, tell you what.
Raging Bonner is untouchable at the moment.
Ooh,
the Rizzler.
Rizzler! What a name.
The Rizzler has pipped the Raging Bonner. Round 23.
Ooh, Wombats.
Beware of those Wombats.
And then last round, here we go. Oh, Jake, the favorite.
No.
I think we have a winner.
No. The favorite. 27.57. No, he has not pipped the Rizzler. He was short by 18 points.
We'll post all these up on Twitter, guys, and maybe up on Facebook so you guys can see, hey, look who's won and what's happened. Rizzler, if you're in the chat, what was Rizzler's name? Can you go back to his name?
That was in round 22.
22. Toby, if you're watching, Toby, send us a Twitter message. Do whatever you want. 2 AFL tickets heading your way, buddy. Thank you very much for playing, guys. It was a lot of fun.
We also have the Booby Prize, which is the random selection.
Yep.
So we will have to do a random number generator.
Yep.
Based on the ranking. So we have in our competition, 460 people.
I've got the numbers waiting here if you wanted to.
Go for it.
Yep. If you just want to do a number generator.
Okay. Random number generator between 1 and 460. Are we ready?
Drum roll, guys.
Generate number 227. Who is number 227?
Inner Sanctum, Alex.
Alex, the Inner Sanctum.
Alex, if you're here, let us know. Otherwise, we'll post it up, and you've got a couple of tickets to a game next year, mate. Should be a lot of fun.
Alex from the Inner Sanctum, has a $20 AFL store voucher.
Oh, sorry, store voucher. You got me.
AFL store voucher for Alex of the Inner Sanctum. Congratulations to Alex. Congratulations to Rizzler. Yep. Rizzler has won.
Quez, mate. Tell you what.
Rizla has won 2 tickets to a game.
Yep.
And
next year,
obviously. And Quez has won a jersey. So congratulations to our wonderful viewers, competitors, subscribers. Yep. It has been a lot of fun going through each of the points. It has been a wonderful season. We will post this on Facebook and on Twitter. Yep. So if you guys, if Quez, Rizla, or Alex are not here in the chat at the moment, then at least they can be made aware of the prize coming their way. And hopefully next year, one of you guys here in the chat can be the winner of not only $50,000, but also of one of our prizes.
Yeah, no, 100%. It is going to be a good day. It is going to be fun. Thank you very much, guys, for staying here, for being here the whole bloody season. So there you go.
See you, Super Coach. Hello, AFLW Fantasy. On that note, it's finally time to finally press X on this tab, which has been open for how many months? I don't know how many months it's been.
December.
Super Coach can get in the bin. It's over. Bin. Super Coach is in the bin. We are now talking about the women. They are not in the bin. They have emerged. Absolutely, they have emerged. The men can get in the bin for Supercoach. It's over. This is what my team looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know if I can pull up my team.
This is what my team looks like. I will go through it, and I will also be showing you guys an incredible resource. You might remember one Jaden Poposki. He is the fantasy / Supercoach Rain Man of mathematics. We have had on the channel a number of times to describe the scoring system. He has made a website. On his website, I will put a link to his website here in the chat. It is called Stats by Jaden. There is a tab in the top called AFLW. You click on it. Let me move our faces for a second. We then have some tabs. The prices and positions. The practice match stats. How they played in the practice match. Yep. It even has their break-evens and price projections, as well as the difficulty of their fixtures. I will put a copy here, a link for all of you wonderful viewers. This link will take you to Jaden Poposki's website. He does the Lord's work, and he will help you to pick the right players.
Yeah, 100%. And if we're lucky, I don't know if Jaden's watching or whatnot, but maybe we'll get him on before the season starts. Big J did very, very well in the season last year. I'm not talking myself in the third person anymore, but yeah, did very well. As Corey knows, hopefully he's still watching. Not sure. But yeah, it's going to be a good season. Some good strategies to go through and things like that. But similar to Supercoach over the last couple of years, Joe, it's almost an even playing field again because of the double up rounds. As everyone probably should know by now that's playing, there's 4 rounds between rounds 4 and 7 where your players play 2 weeks. And depending on how you navigate that is going to really help with winning, basically.
Yep. Exactly. So, and it'll come down to the different strategies that people have. Some people might want to start and load up on some round 4 or 5 double game week players. Others are going to be happy to trade into them. For example, using other players who might have a really positive fixture to start with, and then you trade them out once they've made more money to someone who is better. For example, someone like in the ruck department, Edmonds. She plays for the Bulldogs. She has a very positive first 3 weeks before she has a tough double game week. Someone who has a very positive.
Yeah, being a double game week, though, like you might just get away with it a little bit too.
Correct. Exactly. So there is a positive to be held. And then it then opens up again afterwards. So if there was ever a week to have a bad matchup, the double game week is the week to do it. Blue, the darkest blue is the easiest matchup, and then the darkest red is the toughest of matchups. So this on Jaden Poposki's website is on the scale of hardness tab, and it's split by defenders, midfielders, rucks, and forwards, depending on which way you go. And of course, it will tell you which team has the double game in which week. So if you are unsure of who you would like to start, you can look here and see, for example, that Richmond has a pretty okay start in the midfield. So you might be thinking maybe Mon Conti is a good idea. You might also be looking at Essendon and thinking, Matty Prespakis might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Or you might be thinking, geez, North have a tough start and all of their mids are really expensive. Maybe I can wait for them to drop in price a bit before their double week.
Yep.
So,
yeah, definitely some really good strategies there.
Yeah. So that's the benefit of looking at the hardest fixture.
Correct. Dark red is the hardest. Dark blue is the easiest.
Yes, correct. So Jen has Conti in the team. Very nice. Did well last year. This will be my best season.
Currently, Joe and I have Conti in our teams too. And we'll see. I'll try and get Edmonds in, but I don't think I can.
Ruby, one of the best picks.
Very possible. A sneaky pod. I mean, she's not really a pod anymore, but Ruby Tripodi has been playing in the mids for North Melbourne. If you check North's Instagram, you'll be able to see her playing through there, and she's currently in the 18. So forward 379K, looks to be getting a bit of game time. So worth some money there.
Yep. I have Maddie Prespakis, as she is one name that I know.
There you go. Big strategy for this year, something that we found out last year a little bit. Maximize the cash gen as kind of quick as you can. Yep. We do have 3 trades, which means that, you get a couple of players in your team that are making 200K, 250K. You can jump up and get a primo very, very, very quickly. So,
correct.
Something to kind of keep an eye out for there.
Correct. Now, the cash gen, I feel like there is a lot of cash gen this year in the defensive rookies as well as in the midfielder rookies. I think these are going to be really good. Midfielder rookies, we're talking Goody and Window. Window, of course, suffered an ankle injury during the game, but she was on track for a 100-plus type score in the practice game. Goody had a wonderful game. Now, again, if you go to Jaden's website and you go to the practice match stats, it will tell you, and you type in their name, Goody, it will tell you how they performed, their price, their ownership, thanks, Big J, their score. 110 Goody scored. 25 disposals, 7 marks, 5 tackles, and a behind.
She had a very good game.
She is someone that is the biggest of locks. This is someone that you can field. It is recommended that you field because the scoring that she can give out is too good to be sitting on the bench. Too goody to be sitting on the bench. So she is one that you need to have a look at. Window, unfortunately, suffered an injury, I think, at halftime. Was on 46 at halftime again. So this is a rookie. This is too damn good for rookie price. Keep an eye out for her. If she's named to play in round 1, then we gotta stick with her because she's capable of too good things Piper window. So
Mm-hmm.
she's one as well. As is Breed. Breed also had a very good performance on the weekend, scoring a 76 off 18 disposals, 5 tackles, 5 freeze fours, and a behind. So what you will notice with a lot of these players that we're picking, they like to tackle. Tackling is really important in this game.
Where you get a lot of the points from.
It is the second most points that you can get per action. Goals, number 1. Tackling, number 2. So if you can pick players that can tackle and accumulate, then you are in for a winner. Really important that you get some of these important midfielder rookies as well as some of these defender rookies. So Lutkins, she's 36 years old. She's not picked to not play. She will be playing. 57 that she scored off of 12 disposals, 1 tackle only. So if she has managed to score 57 off of only 1 tackle, this is a great floor score. And she's capable of scoring even better than this in defense.
One thing I would say, though, guys, is that some of these players did have massive scores, but being the nature of AFLW and the preseason, some teams didn't have their full complements either. So you kind of just based it off stats. Have a look at some of the players. Be like, cool, why did this player score so much? Oh, well, because all the superstars weren't playing. So just kind of have to gauge that a little bit.
So Lutkins, I think, is a safe selection. I think also Finn is a good selection. 83 fantasy points off halfback, 19 disposals, 7 marks, and again, 2 tackles. So capable of being a distributor of halfback whilst tackling. I think Finn is a good player at that price, as is BT. And I think they're both going to play. BT only scored the 56, but she's 300k. She's basement price. 56 points for someone basement off the bench will net you money very, very positively.
Yeah, no, 100%.
If you look at BT, her break even is only 25. And if she scores 50, and if she scores a 50, then she will go up 70k then and there on the spot in the first week. If you can get some more tackles and get to 75, she goes up 140k just like that. So I would not be worried when you're picking basement price rookies, then that is fine.
Yeah, it's not like Supercoach where some of these players you've got to wait. At least in fantasy, you don't have to wait 3 weeks and whatnot. It's very, very, very different with the women's game. And you will be getting close to upgrading your team by round 5 if you're doing it properly. It's really going to be a case of cool. I've got to wait a couple of weeks. Bang, that's it.
Could you start Anderson or Mackay in week 1? So Anderson, again, if we go to the AFLW, you go to the scale of hardness. Midfielders, Brisbane have an okay first 2 weeks, but then it gets a bit harder, and then it's a fairly
you're reading the first. No, Anderson's Brisbane.
Sorry. Yeah.
Brisbane. Yeah. Brisbane's got a few tough weeks to start the season, and then it gets a little bit easier.
So, for example, someone like Anderson might be someone that you might look to trade in. She would have hopefully lost money after 3 tougher matchups in the midfield. You can trade her in at round 4, and then enjoy the ride from there. Or alternatively, you could trade into someone like a Collingwood midfielder who has their bye around that week. But you probably don't want to start her, considering the tougher fixture at the start of the season for Anderson Bello. Meanwhile, Mackay for Carlton, it's a bit more favourable of a matchup considering that there's a few more Blues. But after that, it's a tough stint, whilst also having a tougher stint for the double game week. So I probably wouldn't be trading in. I probably wouldn't be starting either of Anderson or Mackay in the midfield.
Anderson was fantastic last year. Don't get us wrong, and obviously Brisbane did very, very well in the finals, but North and a few of these other teams aren't that much of a pushover. So the good teams from last year definitely had a harder matchup now.
Yep, exactly. So it's good to pick people that ideally have a nice positive matchup, nice early start to the season, because as you saw, there is no 3 weeks before price change. Price changes are immediate. So if you see someone who has a really positive start to the season and will go up in cash quickly, you can then trade them out to someone better in time for their double game week. So start Mackay and trade out for Anderson round 4. I probably wouldn't be starting Mackay, considering that she then starts. She'll have 2 okay weeks at the start, but then she'll have 4 weeks in a row of tough matchups, of tougher matchups. So it's not like you're trading her in for someone that is going to absolutely dominate in a positive week, for example. So,
I mean, take all of these with a grain of salt, right? Some teams have lost a lot of players, some teams haven't, but it's definitely running off the stats from last year and kind of how players are going and whatnot. So, yeah.
Correct. So ideally, for example, with the midfield, you're looking at, so for example, people like Rowbottom from Gold Coast, because she was a very good performer last year. And then you look at the way she starts, again, 3 very positive matchups at the start of the season. It will be very hard to trade her in because she's already expensive as it is.
Yep.
Add to the fact that she's going to have 3 positive matchups at the start, you're missing out on a lot of points. Plus, you're going to have to wait a long time to trade her in. And she is ideal, and she's probably going to be a top 5 mid.
You could probably keep her conceivably all year.
Correct.
Potentially trading her to someone during the Brisbane game, but round 5, like the first kind of somewhat hard game, no worries.
Yep. And another reason why, for example, you really want to have both of those Port rookies, especially if Window is also healthy, is you look at Port's start to the season with a neutral matchup and then 2 very positive matchups to come after that. These Port rookies could make us so much money so quickly. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Both of
how
them
much cash we could have.
Yeah, both of them basically equaling a primo straight away.
Yeah. So it is, that's why you sort of are looking at, you might want to make some decisions in relation to, again, who do you want on the bench? Well, you've got someone like Smith maybe potentially on the bench, who is a forward for the Gold Coast Suns. What's Gold Coast Suns look like? Neutral, 2 positives, neutral. That can be fairly decent for a rookie in your bench on your bench, for example. So that's what you're looking at when it comes to the scale of difficulty in selecting, not necessarily being the be-all and end-all, but sometimes sweetening the deal, because as Jen says, it will be too hard to bring in someone like Rowbottom, for example, because they will be out of reach very quickly, and it's only an 10-game season.
Yeah, that's something that we definitely found last year and would kind of impart that onto you guys just before we head off, is start as many expensive players as you want in your team as who you can have, because if you don't, it's going to be very hard to bring them in. Like trying to chase a 800K player and bring that in with 3 trades is only like 150 off 3 players. So you got 3 rookies, cool. Rookie. The money that's come from those equals that extra player. It makes it very, very, very hard to be able to get one of these primos in because you've got to replace the player, basically. So you imagine to get a $1.5 million player just out of rookies, you almost have to have more than $2 million in rookies on the bench to be able to afford that player. So that's kind of where the cost for reward doesn't work out that well in your favor.
Yeah. So my team is very much a guns and rookies type approach, not really too many mid prices. Going for these 3 I consider these 3 to be primo keepers. These to be primo keepers. Blackburn is someone who I've got for the early fixture. So the Western Bulldogs have got 3 positive matchups at the start, and then I'm hoping to trade her out before this difficult week to maybe someone from Collingwood or someone from Brisbane. But ideally, I'm probably going to trade Blackburn out to someone from North Melbourne, maybe a Jazzy Garner or a Riddell, whoever is the person who's going to get in. But I'm looking to start Blackburn, who has a good early fixture, and then trade her out to someone like a Jazzy Garner, for example, after her hot start. Sorry about that. And then these 2 rookies, I think, are locks for all of our forward lines, Tripodi and Pauga. Tripodi, someone that Big J mentioned earlier.
She's playing midfield, so
there you go. And Pauga had a really good showing on the weekend. She scored a 49, 7 tackles. You love to see it. She's a tackler, and that's what we want to see. We want people who can tackle and people who love to give hugs out for free. So Pauga comes in. Going with a Bonnie Too Good, Kate or Brennan. I think these 3 are going to be probably the top 3 forwards, especially with Brennan's start to the season. She has got a very, very positive start with positive matchups. She's also had a very impressive pre-season game. So Katie Brennan, she's got a 97, 15 touches, 5 tackles, 6 marks, and 3 goals. I feel like she's going to kick a bag. The captain of the Richmond Tigers in ripping hot form, I feel like she's going to eat West Coast alive in round 1. So that's why I've gone with these 3.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. So that's my team. Let me know what you guys think at the moment. And I think Big J has got his team ready to show us too.
Yeah. It's effectively the same as Joe's team, but not yet.
Oh, really?
Not yet. We are going to do a bit of a reveal probably before Friday. So, yeah, should be a lot of fun. 3 more days to go, everybody. You still got time. Tripodi get midfield time with North Guns. She's currently playing in the midfield, training in the midfield group as well. They like her gusto. They like her run. She may not be playing first run or first rotation, but definitely second rotation. So expect her in there.
And for someone who's only who's under 400k, again, she's rookie price.
As long as she's playing, that's it.
As long as she's playing, exactly. We don't have an issue with that. If she's not going to play, it's someone there is Dersma is someone that you could downgrade Tripodi to. So that's not an issue. Thanks, Jen. Thanks very much. Jen. So, yes, that's what the team looks like for now. Pretty happy with it at the moment. I have been tossing and turning a little bit between playing some more mid-prices like Ellie McKenzie in the midfield here in this spot, as well as potentially, saving the money that I would, instead of spending almost 1.3 mil, could go for someone like an Ellie McKenzie here, and then maybe getting a Gabby O'Sullivan in the forward line, thereby reducing, again, the number of rookies on the field. But at the same time, I think these rookies, I'm pretty confident are going to make up for, I suppose, maybe the lack of points with the cash generation. Cash is king in this game to be able to upgrade really quickly.
Yeah, and definitely just like Supercoach, right? You put the rookies on the field first, work out who's going to play, and then you pick the team around it. Because if you can't finish your team, at some point it's going to give way, and that's kind of not what you want.
Yep, exactly. So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for yet another Monday night live stream. 1.5 hours today. Congratulations to our winners. Congratulations to all of our non-winners, to all of you, because the biggest win is the good fun and the friends that we make along the way. And it has been a very, very fun season of Supercoach this year. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Guys, we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, as Joe says, for coming on and watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the whole bloody season as well. The people watching, you know who you are. We've got people here who've still been on the show watching us all season long. Never missed a Thursday, never missed a Monday. Hey, this is how my team went. You know, I posted up on Twitter. I think a few guys saw that on there. So, yeah, it's been amazing. Nice to make top 1K next year, Joe. Excited for the AFLW season. Not too bad.
Yeah, we'll go through it on the Thursday night. We'll still have our Thursday.
Well, teams will be announced for fantasy, won't they, by then? So
correct, because we'll be doing the team sheets for the women, as well as maybe going through that All Australia on the Thursday night, and giving our review, seeing if we agree with the selections or not. Thanks for joining Wooden Spoon Data. It's been a pleasure to have you. And we are also very excited for the women's season because we will also be getting to see, not from a non-fantasy perspective, they will be using ball tracing in the AFL women's. They've been trialing it in the VFL. They're now looking to implement it in the AFLW season. So we will hopefully get better score reviews without any nonsense of if it was touched or hit the post and things like that.
So, what is this nonsense? It can't happen.
I know, right? So we will have ball tracking, and we have finals drought tracking as well, courtesy of Velo. So thank you very much for that, Velo. How many days since your last flag, Velo?
Oh, there you go. Don't
How many days?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Guys, here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work, so you guys don't have to. Catch you on Thursday stream. Bye for now.
See you guys.